What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Team Building with Zooch, where I take a live guest and team build with them for a matchup, and then afterwards I'll go ahead and review the replay and talk about how the game went, how I think the team performed, and all of that. So without further ado, we have yet another poketuber with us here today. We got Cherry. What's going on, man?
Hey everybody! Hey, where we stop? Hey y'all, how's it popping?
What's going on? Yeah, actually, it's crazy. Out of the last, I think three of them will be poketubers, so we're on a bit of a roll here. Um, yeah, we have another high stakes games, guys. A finals matchup here in a it's an SV Paldea tier, but as you can see, kind of low tier Tera with dedicated Tera types. So, you did play this game once. You said how'd that game go? Did you win?
Yeah, I won 2-0.
Mhm.
I brought they had an Annihilate at the time,
Mhm.
and I brought a Toxic Taunt Sneasler,
Oh, nice.
because I knew that it would the Annihilate would probably come in on the obvious, it wants Rage Fist and
Yeah.
yada yada. So
Yeah.
baited it in, toxicked it when it clicked bulk up, because obviously Sneasler at front looks like a setup fodder for
Right.
Annihilate. So
Yeah.
taunted that. It was a defensive Sneasler, so in theory, I'm 3 KO'd by Rage Fist at +2, I think was what it was, non-boosted. So
Mhm.
it went really well, and then I cleaned with Rock Polish, Terra Fairy, Rhyperior, claimed 3 kills,
Nice.
and it was pretty straightforward. So
Yeah, I was gonna say at first glance, I do like honestly both of these guys, Terra Fairy, like defensively or offensively. I think both look pretty solid. Who did he add for the Annihilate?
the Necrozma, it
Oh,
was
okay.
pretty much instantaneous. So I think the Necrozma is gonna come.
Mm-hmm.
Because it might have been a response to the I don't know. I
Yeah.
truthfully don't know why he made the transaction, but all I know is I don't like building for rematches, especially when I win. So
Yeah,
I
me
was
too.
like, ooh, this could be a little dope. And
Yeah.
Jay Ricky was, in my ear. I'm like, maybe,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I like it.
why not?
Um, Definitely. So yeah, a couple of things stand out here. Definitely, the hazard sack versus this guy. His removal man is what, Delibird and Sandslash for rapid
Yeah,
spin.
he brought the I think he brought the Sand Slash against me, if I
Did he?
remember correctly.
Okay.
I think he did. I could be very wrong, but I don't remember it doing anything. I don't even remember if it came, so
Yeah.
it did nothing most likely.
Yeah. I watched the replay when you sent it to me like
I
that
don't
day, and
even.
I don't think it came, but I didn't watch it in a couple of days, so
Oh,
maybe I'm
oh yeah, no,
misremembering.
I'm looking at it now. It didn't come,
No.
so I guess
Okay.
I'm like I'm delusional. But yeah, nah, I think I don't know what my ideal game plan was for the regular game. I just knew that my win condition was Rhyperior, and I wanted to lead really strong. So
Hmm.
I think what I could have done better is just prioritize hazards because of their removal, which when they in the regular season when they brought the team, they didn't bring any removal at all. So
Right.
just the idea of hazard stacking and really applying pressure early,
Hmm.
I think is a way that I can take the game. But
Yeah.
my biggest concern is a lot of these mons I'm trying at the time were mons that I've never used before. So Hammerot, things like Garchomp, things like Rhyperior, things like Metagross, like
Yeah.
pretty much almost my entire team at the time were mons I've never tried. So
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
I was just a firm believer of not leading Hamrot because I think when I'm prepping for a game, my initial thought is, can I anti-lead Hamrot?
Hmm.
And during the season, people anti-lead Hamrot and it would work in my favor. But because of that, I'm not really, my game plan of, hey, I want to get spikes up or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be Garchomp's role. But
Yeah.
in reality, things are like kind of swapped. So
Yeah.
I've been learning a lot about the mons and things as I've gone, and I've also drafted some of these mons in different leagues too. So I'm still embarking on that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think sorry, I feel like I'm
No, you're
yapping
good.
a bit,
You're
but
good. You're good.
I don't know. I want to prioritize like hazards and things like that, and like but obviously you're the guy, you're the man, so you can
Yeah.
you know
So
on that and
yeah. So yeah, obviously, yeah, I think Samurai is literally the best spiker in the game. But
I agree.
you did mention spikes on Garchomp, and the reason why I think probably spikes is a bit better, and I think you did bring kind of defensive chomp, which I am gonna say like it seems pretty good here because one, he's got triple fairy, 1, 2, 3, and then he has
Mm-hmm.
a pretty good check into offensive chomp with defensive Landorus if it comes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then he has a potential just sand slash in the snow to like be faster, right, and kill you. And then
Right.
even Roaring Moon is faster than you and can just kill you. So yeah, there's a lot of ways for him to deal with offensive chomp here. So I do think defensive chomp, even though you brought it already, I think it is probably the best set here. It can check these two guys specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Landorus, aside from that, like you could technically bring like a defensive Vaporeon, but that just kind of gives him momentum if he just U-turns and then you can go into
Right.
whatever. So
Right.
yeah, I do kind of
Mm-hmm.
like Landorus because if either of these two guys do come and they try to U-turn whatever, at least you're gonna get chip, that for sure. And then they'll bring in whatever they want to bring in. If they bring Roaring Moon, okay, we'll probably have something else to at least pivot. Maybe like you said, like a fairy this guy, or we'll see what we cook up. But yeah, I do think at first glance, I like kind of defensive spiking chomp. Even though I did just say, oh, like they have triple fairy, I think Samurott can come. One, because it's still a good Pokemon. Like just Dark plus Fighting is pretty good into this team, or like Water even with
Yeah.
Landorus. But you can kind of
Mm-hmm.
use it because Necrozma is like one of those guys where like if it sets up in a way that you can't really guard against, then it can do some damage. It can win the game. It can do a lot of things.
Right.
I do think we can cater this Samurott to kind of check the Necrozma at least the initial time, and it'll let you kind of see if he's Calm Mind or Dragon Dance, or if he's just defensive, whatever. And I think it was one of the first sessions I did on this series. I think it might have been like 3 or 4 or something like that. But it's because Samurott's faster, it's a really speedy mirror herb Samurott for Necrozma, because with encore. So basically the idea is like if he Dragon Dances, you Dragon Dance, then you can encore lock him and then do
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to do. If he subs, if he Calm Minds, like anything. Basically he has to just raw attack you, and you obviously are immune to the main attack. So he's probably
Right.
going to carry Heat Wave if he's special for Metagross, or Earth Power even. If he's physical, he's probably going to carry like Knockoff or something. So that would probably be like the worst case scenario. Oh, they just knock you up, but at least you prevent the Necrozma from going crazy, and then like you just lose your Mirror Herb. That's fine. You're in. He's kind of forced out, or he should be forced out at least. So yeah, I think we can deal with Necrozma pretty good. And if Necrozma doesn't come, which I think it will come, especially because like you said, you picked it up or whatever. You could still use this guy to come in and just it'll probably have a water move, and there's not like a ton of things on this team that you can just straight up Oko if we're bulky. Obviously the Hearth Flame is one. I mean, actually, yeah, it should be able to Oko you with a grass move, if I had to guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
think in the Oh, keep going. Sorry.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. No, I'll just say real quick. But yeah, it's really just like Hearth Flame and maybe this guy. I don't even think Moonblast from Ninetales will kill you. So it's mainly just these two. I don't think Moon or Landorus can just one shot you. So, but yeah, I kind of just that idea kind of just sprung up, immediately looking at this matchup.
Yeah, in the regular season, that's Mirror Herb is actually a really good shout. I'm glad I didn't see it, but in the regular season, I actually did run like a speedy encore Hammerot, and Roaring Moon couldn't even Suda KO me with a +1 acrobatics after a booster. I encored him into acro, and that enabled my Rhyperior to just clean up the game from there.
Hmm.
So I really like the Mirror Herb idea that you brought up. I actually like
Yeah.
that a lot.
Okay.
Um, but obviously, like we're spitballing. But yeah, yeah, I was Chopple last time. I was Chopple Encore, and
Oh, okay.
but I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Actually,
Yeah, and even again going back to the whole hazard sec, I just noticed too, like you have a pretty good toxic spike here because you're so fast, and like there's no poison on this team. He can't even Tera into a poison type either. So like unless he is literally bringing spin on one of these two guys, all your hazards are there to stay. So and toxic spike is really good into like literally everything. Like it's just obviously Landorus and this guy.
mhm.
But so that's even an idea too, because it sucks. Obviously, Sneezer's not Terra. So Landorus is one of it's honestly probably might just be the best check to non-Terra Sneasler.
Yeah,
It's with the Intimidate
yeah.
and Helmet. So I could honestly see. I know you said you were a Toxic Taunt, but just Toxic Spike too, I think is really really solid versus their team.
Ooh,
So
I like that.
yeah,
Okay.
we can literally go full on just like spikes and T Spike and pretty much
So like
probably win.
utility, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I think I think Toxic Spike has gotten a lot better, and I think I don't know. I don't know if you saw the video I just went up with Jay Rick. He played against Toxic Spikes, and the team I
Yeah.
built with him kind of just lost to it, and I kind of feel bad. But yeah, I think teams are just not really respecting Toxic Spike for some reason, and it's risen in popularity. I mean, Boots is still a thing, and I love Boots, but it's not as big as Gen 8. Like Boots was everywhere in Gen
Yeah.
8. Nowadays, it's
Yeah.
not so much. So because the whole you can Tera to poison 2 to block is nice. Obviously, you can't
Mhm.
hear, but can I ask, like, how did you guys get your other? Did you just like pick the types?
So it was, yeah. So the rules were you have certain amount of points for Terra captains, and you pick three typings. One of them has to be a stab.
Yeah.
Very much like DOC1 kind of sort of rules.
Yeah.
I haven't used ground, and Vaporeon was actually Miss Mage. No, was it Miss Mages at the start? It was something else. I think it was Miss Mages at the start.
Mhm.
But I realized that I only picked up Miss Mag as a spin blocker for like treads and Great Tusk and
Mhm.
yada yada, and I thought Vaporeon would fit a little bit more because the issue that, and I don't really think it's an issue because I was doing well, but the quote unquote issue I was running into is I would just bring the same top six every week because they're just the best top six to bring to
Yeah.
the game.
Right.
So it was like 3-4 weeks in a row that I just brought my top six. So I was like, maybe I can my support could be better. Oh, I had a Serena. It was Serena and Terra Miss Mag. So I thought
Oh,
my
okay.
support could be a little bit better. So I was like, oh, just go Terra Vapo. And that's gotten me a win. Like I
Yeah.
started on the back foot like 3-2 and Vaporeon just
Yeah.
so
I was literally
it's
gonna
been
say
good. I've been liking it.
yeah. I think Vaporeon's underrated as a lower tier Terra Cup. So, but so what do you think about the whole Toxic Spike idea from
Um,
Snizzler?
I, I I like that because I think that can be distributed everywhere. And I
Mm-hmm.
think even though yes, boots are a thing, I think you hit the nail in the coffin with like boots usage maybe going down this gen. But I think it's just the gen is so offensive
Yeah.
that you just get so much more value doing something else.
Yeah.
And I think like if I like T spikes, but I
Mm-hmm.
think I would probably want to get the most value out of it. So I wouldn't say lead it because I don't think that's the best lead in this game, but
Mm-hmm.
like early game T spikes, getting that value on Roaring Moon, getting that value on necrozma,
Yeah.
getting that value on XYZ, even primarina
Yeah.
that can come in, or Ogerpon as well. Like in the regular season, my Garchomp traded with Ogerpon. So maybe I don't have to result in a trade.
Yeah.
Maybe my Garchomp can live and it can provide more value. So I like the T Spike idea. I'm kind of happy I didn't see it in the moment.
Okay.
So
All right. Let's throw
yeah,
that on there
I
for
like
now.
yeah, I
All right.
like that idea.
Cool. Cool.
I think
So
it's good.
yeah, we're gonna be Poison Touch for sure over in this one. Toxic Spike. So as far as moves, I'm thinking probably like stabs and then just probably U-turn.
Turn.
There's
Yeah.
not really a whole thing you could do again for Landorus. But other than that, stabs look pretty nice. I guess there's a Banette potentially, but like, okay, you're just gonna U-turn or gunk it. Like it's I don't think Banette's
I
the
don't
biggest of
think
our
the notes
worries.
come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll just do you like gunk or do you like Dire Claw more? It's up to you.
I think I've gone gunk once and I never clicked it.
All right,
So I
let's
think
roll with
Dire
Dire
Claw's
Claw.
fine.
Yeah.
Um, Taunt could also that might be a mock thing.
Mhm.
But Taunt could be helpful for Clef Key. Clef Key might be I don't know. I'm so hyper fixated on like Double Dance Clef Key or like Aurora Veil into Magnet Rise, Weakness Policy Clef Key. I don't know why I'm so hyper
What the
fixated on
heck?
that. But that scares me. I don't know. Like these things, I'm so all over the place. But that might be a mock thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I still like the idea of taunt, but I like U-turn for now, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so that's fine. We'll keep this. We're gonna probably be maxed because there's a Roaring Moon, so
Those are Roaring Moon.
not really much to think about here. Item we're gonna leave because I know you said like, oh, like we're probably not gonna lead it, and we don't have to. But if we do opt to lead it, it has to be Sash probably. So we're just gonna leave it for now until we do our leads and stuff later. Okay. So yeah, you did mention Clef Key. There's potential spikes on their side. They have a couple spikers actually. 1, 2, 3. They do have obviously hazards or like rocks too. They don't have I mean, they have a ghost type, or I guess they could Terra into a ghost type. So we they see Terapagos, which is obviously probably the best spinner in the gen, which is kind of crazy. You have like the best spinner and the best like spiker. Um, They could opt to go for like one of these guys with Terraghost to block, but I still think Terrapagos is probably needed here. It's pretty good speed tier because that does outspeed the Necrozma. Um, I do think we could go like you. Looking at this team, you only need really 2 coverage moves, which is normal and flamethrower fire. You can opt to go for coverage if you want Ice Beam or if you want Dazzling Gleam. But I do think spin is probably required here. So that 4th attack can be either like another coverage move, or it could be roar or rocks or toxic or whichever. I don't really necessarily think you need a 3rd coverage move per se. Could be nice to have for sure, but it's up to you. It could be Calm Mind too if you want to be Calm Mind, but I think realistically you're probably going to spin with this guy and then probably just get damage, maybe kill 1 Pokemon or 2 and then get revenged. You're pretty susceptible to like Thunder Wave too on this guy, so it might be hard to get off like a Rapid Spin Calm Mind sweep into this team, but I think it's up to you what you think is the best 4th move to have.
I definitely agree. I remember in the game I was Terra Starstorm, D Gleam, Roar. I wasn't Spin, so I do agree in the sense that I probably do need to be Spin. And I just think in the game they weren't really able. They were like Reflect, Outplay. I think they had spikes on their set, but I think they played it in a way that they really couldn't get that value. So I definitely like the idea of Rapid Spin here. Because there's not really a lot that punishes it. I mean, my 4th move can be. I think all I really need in a nutshell is Terra Starstorm and Flamethrower. Honestly, I could have D Gleam, but the Roaring Moon never came in on Terrapagos. I don't really think it will because of that D Gleam scare. I mean, Ice Beam, but I don't think Ice Beam's entirely necessary.
Like, I mean, it's a solid like mid ground for Moon, and then it also like hits the birds or the flying dudes. So, you know, it's a nice coverage move, but
I think it's very open. So that might just be a mock thing that needs to be figured out and fine tuned.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're probably gonna have our rocks and spikes on this guy, to be honest. So I don't think rocks is probably here. At first glance, at least, I'm gonna say it's in between Ice Beam, Roar, or Toxic. I think one of those 3. At first glance, I don't think Calm Mind is probably ideal here.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I mean, we'll just throw Ice Beam for now, but again, it's very up for change.
Yeah, very open.
I am a believer of like boots on this guy is always just the best. Obviously, if you want a different item, sure, but I just think the guarantee spin or the guarantee Terra Shell hit is very.
I've realized
clutch.
that. I've realized that. Yeah. So.
So these guys can Terra into Ghost, but I mean, Flamethrower still hits them like for neutral. You could technically like run Dark Pulse if you want, but it would literally just be for potential Terra Ghosts on these guys, which they didn't bring last time, so I don't think it's really worth it. Because it's not like you're hard walled, like you still have Flamethrower and potentially Ice Beam too. So we can opt to go Modest here. We would go Timid if you want to just make sure we're faster than Necrozma, but if we have that whole Samurai idea, then I don't think that's too important. As long as at Modest we can still outspeed their fastest guy at +1, and we can because it's Kilowattrel. So I think Modest is a bit better. It's could be a bit aggressive, yeah. So if you want to be super safe and be timid, you can too. But it's up to you.
No, yeah, it's finals. Like, be aggressive, go big or go home. Like, you made the finals for a reason. So, you know, I'm under the firm like impression that I don't even think the Crows was gonna be max speed. Like, I can be pretty aggressive with my creeps, but it's finals. So,
yeah, like it doesn't make sense. Like these guys are all naturally faster, so like it doesn't really make sense for him to have a ton of speed. I won't lie. So. I think Modest is fine to get away with. We just want to, again, outspeed. So this makes sure we're faster than Necrozma, like Modest Necrozma or Adamant Necrozma. But I do want to double check real quick. I'm going to shoot Nidoking because it's the same speed. That after that creep, we are faster than Kilowattrel too. Ooh, where does Kilowattrel hit? Yeah, we do. Okay. So this is fine. So after a +1, we're definitely faster on everything besides a potential quick Scarfer or booster speed. So I think it's fine. Again, we're just gonna do max special attack for now. We'll do a look at calcs later though. Okay. Garch, so yeah, I think we have to bring these two. And then the last two, it's honestly up for grabs between probably these four.
Yeah.
I think we definitely need to bring one of the Tera guys though. Because Tera Fairy, I think, is really strong here. They don't have a poison type, and their steel is Klefki. I mean, if this guy comes, then you know, we have a whole amount of gross too. But yeah, I think Tera Fairy is really strong in this team. So yeah, we can do Chomp here. So you said in the original battle, Ogerpon kind of traded right with Garchomp.
Yeah, I brought in my Garchomp on the Hearth Flame, and it just, I mean, I took an Ivy Cudgel prior, and I was pretty fizz deaf. And it just power whipped me. I got rocks up. I was Rough Skin Rocky Helmet, and then they power whipped me again. They died, and I died. So
Yeah,
just,
I mean,
but
yeah.
that can happen again. Like honestly, like I agree with you in the sense that I think if Garchomp comes, it has to be defensive. I don't think it's gonna have a lot of ways to be an offensive chop here. So
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I think yeah, if it comes, then yeah, it probably would be rocks and spikes again. And
Okay.
You know,
Yeah. That makes sense. I'm trying to think, like, if he knows or if he sees Chomp and he just like expects a defensive Chomp again, how does he like capitalize? I guess he could just technically run like U-turn into Prima or something on our switching. But again, even if he U-turns though, he takes a lot, so he has to like probably has to like double switch if he's expecting Garchomp. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking probably just like you might not need rocks, like definitely spikes here. Well,
definitely, yeah. I mean,
like we're gonna have the spike move on this guy. Again, I don't think it's gonna be a priority to get this guy in and just see his edge as much as possible. You're probably gonna have to save this guy unless the necrozma like doesn't show up. Then you could probably play a bit more freely with him. So the only thing that I'm thinking of is I could just be oh yeah, like Stealth Rock and Spike, and then just like Dragon Tail Earthquake or something like that, right? But it's just if one of these, I don't know, I'm assuming he didn't have that last game, but if one of these fairies have Balloon, I just don't like the idea of being like hard walled by one of them if you're just stabbed.
or like Magna Rise Klefki.
Yeah, that
But
too.
yeah, Magna Rise Klefki is yeah, I don't want to be walled by that mon. That
Okay.
would be ideal.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm thinking, well, does this guy get? No, he doesn't get Roar over Dragon Tail. That sucks. Okay.
Oh damn.
So I'm gonna put rocks as the first thing, and then again we have T-Spike, we have Spike on the other guy potentially, but I think if you had to just pick one, I think rock is just nice because it does chip everything. At least the spikes obviously won't hit a couple guys off the ground. So and it does hit obviously like the weak mons a bit more, like Ogerpon and Ninetales. So I'm gonna put rocks on this guy. And then I think we want Earthquake. Now, I do think on a more bulkier set, like Dragon Tail makes sense, but you could absolutely run just like a dragon like move instead, like Dragon Claw or Outrage. But I do think the 4th slot should probably be something that isn't just hard walled. So that could be either like Iron Head or it could be like Flamethrower. Probably Iron Head, just because even though it's not super effective against Klefki or Prima, you know, it is still physical, so you're not gonna have a weak attack, and you could catch the Ninetales potentially off guard. Because if Ninetales comes in on Garchomp, like they're probably gonna Veil, right? Like that's their play. Like you should be scared out, so they can Veil, but your Iron Hand would still do a good chunk because it's 4 times if you want. If you're at that point where you're just, you're stacking Garchomp, at least you can get a big hit off on that guy. So I do like Iron Head, but you could also run like Flamethrower or just some other coverage, but I definitely think you should run something that's just not stab here.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. Or you could even run Break if you want to just guarantee that like Veil isn't going up. You could just like slow Break, you know? That's an option. Because other than that, I don't think we're gonna have a way to get rid of the veil if it goes up. Sorry if you hear my
Yeah.
dog, by the way.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, once the veil goes up, that's like that's low key my biggest concern. And he didn't even bring like I remember prepping for I had like a lead Metagross. Like I prepped so hard for Ninetales Veil offense and he just did not do it.
No.
Like
Did he bring? He brought
he
Ninetales or
didn't
no?
bring Ninetales. No,
Oh.
he didn't bring Ninetales like at
Huh.
all.
Huh.
So I'm still a little weary about it.
Mhm.
I think honestly, like in the regular game, like Ogerpon did nothing. Like, and I think Ogerpon is on my team is really good. Like
Mhm.
that's why I had like weakness policy Metagross lead for a lot of but he might just feel obligated not to bring it.
Yeah.
And he might try and find a way. I hate rematches, man. They stink.
Yeah, for
Hate
sure.
this
Um.
is-
Yeah. I mean, I think the brick break is nice, just to guarantee like Veil doesn't go up. I think is nice. Again, you're probably not gonna end up clicking this fourth move. It's mainly just for in case you do have like a balloon or something. But I
Right.
could see it coming into handy versus Ninetales comes in because again, this is a prime target for Veil to go up on. What do you think for the dragon move here?
So I know last time I ran Dragon Claw,
Hmm.
but I don't really think it matters all that much. It could be Dragon Tail.
Hmm.
I don't hate that idea.
Yeah.
Or it could just be, it could be Dragon Claw again. That's fine. Um, I just remember in the regular game I only clicked rocks and I just died. So
Yeah.
I'm
If I
just
had
trying to
to,
defend it,
yeah. If I had to just pick one, I'd probably lean Dragon Tail just because it is like a more bulkier set. It just kind of deters. I can't just get be set up on by like,
Right.
what if
Necrozma
Necrozma is like, yeah,
maybe.
Morning Sun DD or something,
Right,
you know?
right.
So it does help with that. So I'd probably run Dragon Tail. But this guy's main job is literally just to get up the rocks because they are pretty much going to be there to stay. And if they do bring one of the spinners, it does kind of suck that they're both like ice types. But technically, you could punish the spin a little bit if you want to try to throw this guy in there. Because if you do have, let's say, Toxic Spikes and Rocks up, and then they bring in one of those guys, like I would expect probably a spin to come out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could at least get a little bit of punish there. But yeah, obviously this guy doesn't beat the two spinners 1v1. So we're gonna be defensive here now. We can throw a little bit of speed if you want. If it's a more bulkier Landorus or more bulkier, and Necrozma would be too much speed. Maybe Landorus like could try to speed creep like a min speed guard jump. I don't think it's really worth it for the Landorus too. So if I'm you, I probably just put like a tiny bit of
Like
speed.
20, 24.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
for
usually
numbers
around 20.
24. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But again, like the slower guys, they're either going to be faster than you because they're scarfed or just really offensive, or they're going to be just defensive and they're not gonna run much
Right.
speed anyway. So,
Right.
but yeah, I do like just Fizz Def Bulk Garchomp because it does, like I said, it does check a couple of guys. Mainly, it's going to be these two guys. I guess if Garchomp is used to check Landorus, like Ogerpon's a bit scary, but if we do have like Fizdef, Rhyperior, or one of these guys, like it's okay as long as we Tera into a type that's not weak to the attacks. At least it's not Tera Ogerpon because that guy hits really, really hard, obviously. But if you, let's say, use Garchomp for Ogerpon, and then again Landorus is alive, but ideally one of these two guys is probably gonna have to check the other. I'm assuming that's what I'm thinking is gonna be the play here, because again we do have Hammerot for the Necrozma, and then Metagross is probably going to be able to check majority of the other things. I'm thinking maybe even a Solvest Metagross. I'm not really too sure though because it still doesn't really do a ton to Primarina or even like Kilowattrel is probably just going to Volt Switch on our Switch, so it doesn't really do the job either. So we got to see kind of how we round out this team, but we want to make sure we don't just get straight up killed by something on their team.
Yeah. And slaughtered. I get that.
So yeah, so I'm thinking of this Hammerot set with this whole Mirror Encore, and I'm just trying to think like, okay, if Necrozma doesn't come, or it's just like some Stealth Rock bulky set or something. Aside from the Necrozma, like Hammerot, what sucks is his team like kind of outspeed a lot of things that outspeed Hammerot can just straight up just like kill you. It does a lot of damage. These things. So if the necrozma doesn't show up, it might be hard to kind of find an opportunity just to send in the Samurott. Like it looks a bit challenging in that regard.
Yeah, other than like if the necrozma's not like set up like a DD Roaring Moon, but I don't even know if he embarks on that endeavor again because even though it was late game, he already lost. Like I encored him and I revealed the fact I was encore. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to go down that path again or if his game plan changes to focus more on Hammerot. But yeah, other than those two, I agree with you. I don't really see where I'm getting that necessary value.
Right. Let me see. Samurott. Let's see. So what is his like switching to Samurai? It's probably like Prim
Prime.
if it comes, right? Maybe Klefki, but Klefki still takes a decent chunk from a water move. Yeah, it's mainly just Prim, right? Like that's the obvious one. Does this thing get anything for Prim? I don't think Grass not strong versus Prim, right?
I think it's like 60 power. Could be 80, but
Yeah.
otherwise no.
Well,
I remember also. I'm sorry, I keep referring to the regular season game.
yeah, it's okay.
But I remember in the regular game, like I didn't really get the opportunity to see what his counterplay to Hamrod was because I didn't really play Hamrod to I think the best of the ability.
Yeah.
And it was in the back and died before even Hamrod hit the field. Like Hamrod entered the field 3 turns before the game ended. Like
Yeah.
just was there. So
Yeah. Okay.
I think I was just very afraid of primarina coming in. So maybe I was just trying to play more conservatively with it, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah. What? So, So what I'm thinking is, let's hold off on this set for now. And let's do Metagross, and I think again my Rhyperior looks a bit better than Vaporeon, but regardless, I think one of these guys, like either one, is gonna have to be defensive, and I'm thinking like Tera Fairy looks obviously the best, and I'm thinking like with the Tera Fairy you probably run a Berry, because you showed Fairy, right, the first game.
I did. I showed Fairy and he was encored into acrobatics, so he couldn't really have the opportunity to show Ironhead. But
Yeah.
I was clear Amulet last time for the Intimidate from Landa Z. But yeah, I fully expect him to probably be Ironhead this time. So I like the Berry shout there. Or not Babiri Iron. Yeah, I said that, but yeah, I like the Berry shout there to cover for that.
Yeah, and it can
And
come
also
into
other
handy
things
too. Yeah, it can come into
Yeah,
handy versus this guy too.
Yep.
I think if he comes, he might be Tera Ghost here to probably try to like blow past this guy as well as potentially Spin Block. So he's gonna have probably just like Stab, Ghost, and then either Spin or Swords Dance probably, if I had to guess. So just the opportunity again, just to pretty much not take a ton of damage. I think it goes off even versus Klefki too. He might just try to hit you with a steel move, and then you could just Earthquake him or Heat Crash him or whatever you want to do, or Heavy Slam. Just whatever you have. So I think there's a really good chance that the Berry does actually pop here, and when you Tera into something and then you have the Resist Berry, like it's obviously like a thing, but it's not too expected. Like you don't really expect that too much. So
Right.
I think it'll catch him off guard. Obviously, he could flinch you, which is terrible. But if he doesn't, then I think you pretty much get a kill on him in return. So I think it has good value here, the Berry. So, and if he doesn't bring Roaring Moon or something, then that's good for us anyway. So Roaring Moon's kind of a problem for our team. It's pretty annoying. So let's do Rhyperior. I'm kind of thinking like maybe we could even do both. Let's see. I mean, like, so the Metagross. It's just again. So with Metagross, a lot of his fast Earth guys do strong damage to Metagross. Bullet Punch is always nice though to have. I won't lie.
Hmm.
He
I
doesn't.
was I was Bullet Punch as my main steel stab last time.
Yeah, he doesn't
Hmm.
really have a good switch into it. Like his steel resist is Ogerpon. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it. That's
Yeah.
just yeah.
Yeah. So no, yeah, Metagross is definitely coming. Actually, now that I say that. Um, you said you were agility last time.
No, I was lead for tax weakness policy.
Oh,
The
okay, okay,
idea was
okay.
to get like weakness policy proc. I go for 2 for 1, or worst case bullet punch and get a lot of chip on like ideally Lando T. That was
Gotcha.
the ideal situation, but he didn't lead in a way that proc by weakness policy. He switched
Gotcha.
in hard playing hard on Metagross and took 60. So and it just
Yeah, he did see your policy though, right?
yes, he did proc it later on with a foul play from Klefki. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, so I am thinking potentially, yeah, an agility set here. Like literally, all you need is agility. I'm thinking literally agility, bullet punch, heavy slam, and then ice punch, right? Ice punch just to hit just to KO this guy. But I mean, you could run something to hit this guy. I guess ice punch doesn't. Oh, ice punch is neutral still.
Yeah, it would be neutral. So ideally, if I were to get rocks and stuff up,
Yeah, it'll
that
die.
could maybe potentially be an option. Yeah.
Yeah. And it does have good natural bulk. You can run policy on this set too. You can run a resistive berry. Um, you could run a lumberry if in case he tries to underwave you. Lumberry could be nice because you don't need the amulet with this guy. I'm kind of curious. Let's look at some calcs real quick with Metagross. I really want to use Metagross, but I haven't had the chance to really use them in Gen 9. So
Yeah, I honestly, for like my first time, I love it. I would definitely draft it again. Um, it's it's really versatile,
yeah.
and I like Pokemon that I can do a lot of things with. So you can do a lot with Metagross. I would definitely recommend drafting that mon for 8 mon, or like I might be worse than 8 mon, but for 10 mon, 11 mon, like it's
Yeah.
good. I like it.
Okay, so right now the only Pokemon that's kind of like makes you want to run Meteor Mash over Heavy Slam is Necrozma, but if it's just literally that guy, we can still run Heavy Slam. I just don't like the option I'm missing, but Meteor Mash is nice if you get the boost. Ninetales will die to anything. How about Primarina? 120 versus Prim. Klefki is probably 120 as well. Yeah. Kilo Ice Punched. Sand Slash. So, yeah, it is looking like... Yeah, 120 as well. Yeah. So it is looking like Heavy Slam is pretty much strong versus everything besides Necrozma. It's only base 60 versus Necrozma. So, again, if we have Toxic Spike, Spikes up, we have this Samurott, like, potentially Tera in this guy, I think you could probably still get away with Heavy Slam. Meteor Mash can, like, boost your attack, obviously, which helps with your, like, sweeping potential, but it can also miss. So, that's kind of your call. I think either one works, whichever one you think is better here. It's really just the Necrozma for why you'd want Meteor Mash if you don't want the boost. Because an agility set is potentially going to be your win con. Now that I'm looking at your team, it probably is going to be the win condition. You know, the Meteor Mash could be nice because, you know, you might need to boost your attack to kill everything. I'm not really too sure. We're going to look at some calcs to see like how many spikes we need and all that stuff for this guy to just straight up win. So we could hold off if you want for which steel move we end up going for if we look at those calcs.
I will say I think I like the idea of Heavy Slam more because I do kind of want to limit to the best of my ability how much RNG plays a part.
Okay.
Yep. But I think the Meteor Mash is valid, so yeah, I think it comes down to calcs for sure. Seeing how realistic things look.
Okay. So the thing with agility Metagross is it cannot outpace +1 booster speed. So the next thing we probably want to outspeed is Ogerpon. I can't have an item. It can be Trailblaze potentially, but I don't think that's actually worth creeping for, because we'd probably need a lot of speed to outspeed +1 Ogerpon anyway, and that would require him to get a Trailblaze off, which if we have Garchomp, he's not doing much after that anyway. So I think the next valid thing we might want to outspeed at +2 is potentially a +1 Landorus. I mean, if you look at Earthquake in your team, it's pretty good. Like, there's actually, now that I'm seeing, there's only one resist, and it's a Mismagius. So I could potentially see Earthquake coming in, a Scarf Earthquake being a set here. So we should probably make sure we're faster than that guy, for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's go Landorus Scarf. Let's just see if they're max speed +2. Okay, so we still can get away with Adamant, which is big. Ideally though, like realistically, what are they gonna creep with Scarf? Probably just +1 Terapagos, if I had to guess. So they're probably gonna go down to 295 or past 295. So they're probably gonna hit this speed if I had to guess, if they're Scarf Landers. So I think we just go a little bit past that. You know, this guy's in final, so he knows what he's doing. He's probably gonna.
Yeah, I have his pace on deck. Yeah, he knows what he has an idea at least.
Yeah.
Of what he's doing. So yeah.
All right, so let's go to the 192. We're gonna go Adamant. Max attack. This is our win condition. We want this guy to win here. So yeah, the item can be a couple things. It can be, I'm thinking either Lumberry potentially to, obviously for the Klefki crap. It can be the thing that boosts steel type attacks. Again, Metal Coat, I think. If we look at we look at the calcs again, we might need a boost, whatever. It could also be a Resist Berry. I'm thinking probably Shuka Berry because the Moon might have Earthquake, and that's faster at +1. The guy could be Scarf Landorus, so if we want to take that as a setup opportunity, you know, we probably still, well, we're not max HP. I was gonna say there might be a good chance we could potentially still set up on this guy, but because we have such a good defense, but the Shuka Berry would obviously make it a lot more safer.
Right.
So those are like the three things I'm thinking of: either Metal Coat, Shuka, or Lum. Is what comes to mind. This guy is also probably gonna have Earthquake to hit Metagross if he's not Tera Ghost. So it's up to you. I think again we didn't look at the calc set, but I'm thinking at first glance maybe Shuka Berry might get the most value.
Yeah, I was thinking the same exact thing. Yeah, I was thinking Shuka because to be able to use, I don't know if I'll be able to beat out that Lando other than Sneasler. And when I do, I'm not really going to get substantial chip on it. So
exactly.
That Shuka, for it to be able to use that as a setup opportunity, I like that idea a lot.
Awesome. Okay. So this guy also, like Heavy Slam, does nothing, but again we have Ice Punch, so it's not the end of the world. Bullet Punch. All right, so this is our set. Yeah, it's just whatever. This is our 3 attacks here. So let's look and see what kind of chirp we're gonna need for this guy to win. This Roaring Moon could probably go Adamant here because I don't think they're gonna care about Garage Fire, whatever that guy is called. Because I think Adamant actually doesn't outspeed Mismagius by 2.
Yeah, I think last time they were max speed Jolly for the photosynthesis,
the booster.
Speed.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if they do booster speed here. Being honest, they could honestly just go Adamant and DD if they want to, or even go Bandit. I don't really have a good Bandit knockoff switch in or U-turn besides my Tera Captain. So that's a possibility.
Yeah, I think they're gonna probably go Adamant too. I think that'd probably be their best play. So, but anyway, so for Ice Punch to kill like pretty like no bulk, they'd probably be like this if they're booster speed or whatever. You're gonna need probably a Rocks, and then if Toxic Spike is up, or like one regular Spike is up, that should be okay to kill this guy. So again, Meteor Mash. I don't even think Meteor Mash actually does less, right, than Ice Punch from this guy. Meteor Mash, or it's close.
I believe so.
Yeah, it does less. So Ice Punch is gonna be the click here anyway for this guy. So that's not gonna matter, but Moon is probably going to be one of the few Pokemon that we need a couple rounds of Spike or some Toxic Spike chip on for sure. Another thing where the potential Shuka Berry can help is if the Landorus is Yachi Berry. It might be Yachi Berry, you never know. Like let's say you're already +2 speed and they bring it in, like they have the Yachi Berry, they know they can live anything, they think they can knock you out, and then you have the berry. So that's another thing. Or again, it could be used to set up on the Landorus. Either one. Come into play. Let's check up Ogerpon. Again, we only have Ice Punch here. But again, Ogerpon should not be healthy in this game, I don't think. Unless something goes like horribly wrong with Garchomp. Um, we are gonna have this guy plus the Tera Shell plus something faster that just kills it. Plus Rhyperior that can probably live a hit, because it's natural bulk. So Ogerpon shouldn't really be like sweeping your team in this game, I don't think, or being healthy towards the end of the game when the Metagross ideally comes in, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think you being able to do half to Ogerpon is necessarily a big deal. And
Yeah, that doesn't phase me at all.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I
like
don't think that's.
like you'd have to run like what, like Rock Slide for it or something
Yeah,
to
nah.
hit it.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Like that's why I'm so like it may not even come. Like that's why I wasn't shocked, but I was a little like like I look at my team like double ground,
hmm
like potential scarf ham, Sneasler, you can't run a scarf. Like I'm
hmm
looking, I'm like, like on paper it does good, but I mean in the game it kinda did nothing. So
Yeah.
I'm a little bit,
Okay.
but yeah, nah, it should never be healthy. I agree with you. It should
Yeah.
never be healthy in that game.
Cool. Cool. Um. Yeah. So yeah, Roman's gonna lead a little chip, but yeah, I made a mistake. Necrozma is the Pokemon that's like we saw earlier is gonna need to either be dead or really really chipped for this guy to win. So again, you're gonna have Pokemon that can chip it down in any ways, like just Dire Claw or Starstorm or literally just Earthquaking it, Dragon Tailing it away, whatever. You have ways to weaken the Necrozma. I think if you can get Necrozma like dead or pretty weakened like early in the game, then yes, Metagross is for sure your win like condition. You're gonna win with this guy. If he's playing smart with the Necrozma or like he's just keeping it healthy for like some reason, you might have to shift your win condition to like Terapagos or something because
Yeah, the adapt.
yeah, because Metagross cannot win if Necrozma is healthy with this set. It just unless the Necrozma just doesn't have like Morning Sun or some weird set. But yeah, as long as that guy's around this guy, it's gonna be very hard for this guy to win. So definitely try to put your focus on just getting rid of Necrozma anyway, shape or form. Let's see. Ninetales dies. Prim. Oh my god, I can't type. Max HP Prim pretty much will die again with little chip. So I don't know if he's gonna be defensive Prim here. I mean, he could be defensive if he wants to really check maybe these two guys. So this is a chance. Again, you're gonna ideally hit him first before you go in with Metagross. So you should know, just make sure you calc things. Calc's your friend. I tell that to everyone all the time. And when you do
Yeah, I'm
mocks and
guilty
stuff
of
too.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I'm guilty.
So Clefty is gonna take a lot of damage as well. Max HP, pretty much same calc. It dies after 2 rounds of spikes ish. So, and then I think Kilo will die to Ice Punch, right?
I would hope.
Close,
Yeah.
pretty close, yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, the main things you're gonna need chip is Necrozma and then probably like a Fizz Def Primarina, and then obviously Ogerpon, but that's not gonna be a problem for you. So yeah, these are the two biggest things in your way. But again, they might use Necrozma to maybe check Sneasler or something, so that there might be ways to chip this guy down pretty early. And again, that's why I think Toxic Spike is super super nice because it does hit all the things that we want chipped for Metagross, even Moon too. So the two things that it doesn't hit, Metagross just one shots anyway with Ice Punch. So it kind of goes hand in hand there. Okay. So we have a Fizz Def Garchomp, and that's about it as far as defenses. His special attackers can be Necrozma, offensive Prim, and Kilowatt Troll, pretty much. So again, the Necrozma shouldn't be a huge deal, at least the very first time it's the field. If we do that set, Prima is kind of the problem. Like if it's like Specs Moonblast or something, like it's gonna pretty much claim one. Like you don't really have a switch in. The resist does not resist it because our SPDF is, we're not invested or anything. We're offensive. So
You know what I'm thinking? No, sorry, I had this in the heat of the moment while you were saying that.
yeah.
What if we did like a Combine Wish Terrifier Vaporeon?
Terrifier.
Yes. And the reason why I say that is because of water absorb primarina.
Right.
I resisted to Moonblast Stab. I am immune to Flip Turn. It's locked into clicking psychic noise against me. It's essentially it has to double out every time.
Yeah.
And every time I bring in vape, I can. It doesn't have to be Calm Mind Wish. It could be like Flip Turn, maybe something like that. But I just immediately thought Calm Mind because the only things that really threaten me once I become a fire type are Lando and obviously Roaring Moon because my physical defense is not all that good
Mm-hmm.
and outrage and things like that. But mainly the Lando and the Roaring Moon are the things I'm kind of thinking of. But other than that, I mean, I think I kind of just and I can run Sugarberry and that kind of
Yeah.
solves an issue.
Yeah.
Um,
I,
so
yeah.
yeah, I was kind of just I was just thinking maybe that could be something.
That is a good
Um,
shout. Yeah. I like it. I didn't even think of the whole Terrifier water absorb. That's smart. Um. So let's see. Yeah. So that does, again, it does block Flip Turn, which is nice. So if you're Terrifier on vape, what is their
Also do
switch?
it with Ninetales too. Like Ninetales can't freeze dry is gonna be resisted. Moonblast is resisted. I
Yeah.
resist both his dual stabs.
Yeah. So you'd be
Um
spit def probably because you're checking the special guys. Yeah. I like that. Um. So let me think here. So if you switch into those guys, what's their play into Terrifier? They can't really go hard Landorus. That's kind of crazy. Mm,
that might be how I lure in the Necrozma and get trip on it.
yeah. This thing
Because
doesn't
I
get
don't really
toxic, right?
see
No.
I think Umbreon does, but this doesn't.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You get
but
Scald
that
though,
might
which is
just
nice.
yeah, it's called.
Scald is just a nice click because his resist, which is what Roaring Moon, and then you obviously beat the Prim, so like nothing else wants to really switch into Scald. So Scald is just a nice click, even in front of the Primarina. Like you don't fear what it does. You could just click Scald. Um, maybe if he's like a Calm Minding one, it could be a bit annoying. So you could be something like just get Roar could definitely
Or
work. Yeah. So it'd be like probably like Scald, Roar, Wish, and then like either Protect or Flip Turn, one of the two. You could honestly just be Protect to be safe because this guy is, it is pretty difficult for them to kill a Terrifier. This guy. Then if you do run the Shuka, like you said, you could even like just confidently stay in versus Landorus.
also Lando, yeah, because they're probably gonna feel more obligated to click a U-turn because I'm
Hmm.
never gonna really want to stay in anyway.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
we don't have an Earthquake resist. That's the only thing. So they could just straight up click Earthquake.
yeah,
Um,
that's true.
yeah. Does Vaporeon? I don't think Vaporeon probably does a one shot it right with Scald.
No, I might do like
You have 110
50.
special attack. That'll do a lot. Yeah, this is max HP. It does 60. So if it's offensive, it'll do a decent chunk. Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I like the Shuka. The thing is, if you do Terrifier, you are weak to rocks if rocks go up. But
Yeah, that would be the downside to that. Yeah.
yeah, how much does Earthquake do to you if you're let's say you're max phase def, screw it, even though you're probably not gonna be, and you're a Terrifier dude. Oh, this is Earth Power. Holy shit, no.
Oh god, it scares me.
This is soft sand, but yeah, it does do a lot. um, what else? Can we do anything else for Landorus? We can put a balloon on this guy.
I was thinking that subtly. Doing like an air balloon, even like air balloon lead could maybe work. But
Yeah, it should
this guy
have.
is a finalist, but I don't think I think running Psychic Orlando is crazy. I think it should never happen, but I don't want to put it past this guy because I don't really know the extent.
Yeah, I
But
mean, yeah,
but I like air balloon in general. That is something I was subtly thinking.
yeah. If I'm the Landers and I see this team though, and I see like the only resist Earthquake is Miss
Like
Meg, I'm running like Earthquake Crunch.
Crunch.
But then I do recognize the Terra flying possibility on this guy too. So maybe Stone Edge too, and then like U-turn, But he really like realistically only needs Earthquake until he sees a Terra. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and then let's say you do go Sneasler and he like Earthquakes, you could set up the Toxic Spike if they're not up already. Ideally they are. But then you can U-turn because on that next turn he's not clicking Earthquake when you're on a
That's
balloon.
right.
He's probably just going to click slow U-turn if I had to guess. So then you can make the pivot into Garchomp. Maybe he crunches or something to break your balloon, and bang, you just like chip him for good damage. So it is a good play. The thing is, if you show the balloon early to set up, like as in like you're setting up Toxic Spike, he's gonna know that. I don't know if he's gonna expect this to be the switch in or not. But it is something he could technically predict. I still think it's a good idea though, to be honest. Yeah, and then yeah, between Shuka and Boots on Terrifier is hard. Again, I think we would be probably more spit def. Well, how much? Let's check how much the Prima does to us with like
I mean,
Moonblast.
I think Boots is not entirely bad because I think in order for Lando to be in front of Vaporeon, he would have to make a double. Because otherwise, I mean, or if I'm running Roar, I just get unlucky and get Lando. Like that's just one of the things.
Yeah,
Also, I kind of like Roar with this whole getting rocks up, getting T spikes up, maybe trying to be aggressive with Hamrot, getting a spike up, and just
yeah,
roaring,
yeah,
like and getting things down. Like I kind of like that.
yeah. So
For sure.
yeah, I think the health on this guy would be pretty important then. So I think you probably do run
Yeah.
Wish Protect and then just Scald Roar. I think is fine here. You know, the Wish with like Flip Turn, like it can work, but it just sucks if this guy gets like pretty low or from like say like, maybe he's got spikes up too or something. Like spikes plus rocks would be the way like for him to get past this Vaporeon for sure. Like Ninetales, let's see. Oh, sorry, not Ninetales, Landorus. We're probably gonna like if we run Boots. No, if you run Boots, we're like pretty much dead. This is Max Fizz Def too, which we don't even want to be. Oh wait, this is Soft Sand though. Get out of here. I mean, I guess it could be Soft Sand. Who knows? What can we do? Um. Yeah. Whew. We're probably just gonna have to be that set, and then, you know, if he does come in, like you kind of have to determine, like, oh, like what, you know, if
What's like
Garchomp is full health, yeah, like you could probably just, you know, go Garchomp. Let's see how much Garchomp even takes. You know, I think they're even more bulky than this, but yeah, it's about a 3-hit KO. I think you really should be Jolly just because of the whole Terapia Ghost, but maybe he does go Adamant. I don't really know. But yeah, or like let's say you have your like Shell, you could technically go into this guy, and then I think you probably eat like an Earthquake into Earthquake, right? With your Shell.
Yeah, I would hope.
I think I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and then you threaten him with a, you know, with an Ice Beam. So, yeah. So it'll take double of this the next time, but that's still not killing you. So, you know, you do technically have some pivots. I know you have no resist, but you know, if you really want to save the Vaporeon because like his special guys do look a bit scary, then yeah, you could just pivot into something else on Landorus. You know, the problem is like with Landorus is we don't have anything. The thing that's faster kind of loses to Landorus, and then Garchomp is naturally faster. Ours probably won't be if it's offensive. Plus, even if it was, like, you don't really do a ton to Landorus. Anyways, we could look at the whole Samurott calc too. I do think we're probably going to be some sort of like speedy plus bulk Samurott. We definitely need the speed to make sure we're faster than the necrozma no matter what. And then I think the rest in HP is nice because especially if we do this, you know, technically this does live a thing too, and we could carry Aqua Jet. I don't know if we're gonna fit it because I'm thinking we need, like, we want Ceaseless, right? Ceaseless. We need the Encore for the whole necrozma, and then 2 out of 3 moves is gonna be between Razor Shell, Sacred Sword, and Jet. That's what I'm thinking. So we have to decide, I think, between those 3, what do we want for the last 2. I think Jet is nice just for the Lander specifically because it does seem like that is his best Pokemon. It does. And then Secret Sword is obviously nice for this. It's nice for just Klefki or anything, but it's up to you. I'm probably leaning towards Secret Sword plus Jet, no Razor Shell.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I definitely want Sacred Sword,
Yeah.
for sure, so that the Roaring Moon isn't entirely, you know, I can't touch it. I can't really threaten it. I can encore it, yeah, but that's relying on the fact that they set up on me, which they probably won't because I encored them last time.
Yeah.
Um, so definitely having something to hit that. I like the jet idea. I had a flip turn last time, but I never clicked it. So I like the jet. Just for the chip damage, maybe if I'm low, can
Okay.
get that value.
Oops. Let's see how much we're doing to some things. So and plus now that we have our like the Vaporeon, like it doesn't really matter if they go Prima, like we have a pretty good switch into them anyway. What did I want to look at? Roaring Moon. Yeah, we should kill with some hazard for sure. How much does Roaring Moon do if he's booster speed? Let's say no item. Oh, okay. At +1, yeah, it does about. So in this scenario, like if you do like come in and then he like Dragon Dances, assuming he takes some jet from like hazards, you just can kill him. You
Yeah.
don't even have to encore him into an attack. You should kill him. What else could come into play? I'm assuming Ogerpon just straight up kills us, right? On the grass move.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Okay. And then Klefki, how much are you doing to Klefki with Sacred Sword? Good chunk. Obviously, they can hurt you back. And then...
But I mean, I'm getting the spike up, so
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of the...
Yeah, ideally, again, the whole thing with necrozma happens, so then you encore lock, and then you just get your spikes up with ceaseless. How much are we doing to Landorus? Jet -1, perhaps. Oh, he probably wouldn't be. You probably bring it into Aqua Jet, so you probably wouldn't be -1. Yeah, about a third is always nice too. And then again, you actually live a hit. So, well, technically, I guess you could ceaseless into Aqua Jet if you want. You could miss, which would suck, but yeah. So yeah, no, I like this set. This is basically you cannot lose to necrozma at least right away. So like, let's say he Dragon Dances, you come in, you get him with the encore, and then he has to switch as you edge. Technically, yes, like next time he comes in, he can do that, and you don't have the Mirror Herb, but you know the set now, so like you can play like accordingly to not have something like be set up fodder for it, you know.
Right.
And again, ideally, you have spikes up now, so when it comes, it's going to be chipped, and all that, and all of that. So really, like the only thing that I can even try to set up on is, I guess, Metagross, but he doesn't even know our set. We could have Meteor Mash, but everything else, like Encore locks him or phases him out or just does too much damage to him. So I mean, I guess Dire Claw is the other thing that potentially he might not take a ton from, but yeah. So it's just basically getting information is really important to knowing how to like deal with something, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
100%.
Cool. Okay, let's do this Vaporeon side. So what do you think about just Scald Roar, Wish Protect?
I like that. Do you
Okay.
think so just in case the obviously the Samurai works as we envision, I mirror Herb his Dragon Dance or
Yeah.
Calm Mind, or well, it's mainly Dragon Dance I'm asking a question about, and he's forced out, yada yada yada. If they come in again, are we thinking? I think the one thing they come in on, or it's two, it's probably Sneasler and like late game Vaporeon.
Hmm.
So do you think we're able to run more of a Fizz Def kind of Vapo, just in case he is DD, or just Photon in general? Like, is there a way that I
Let's see.
can not just immediately fall over
Let's see how much
while
he's
also
doing.
respecting? Yeah.
Let's say you're no defense effort, just max HP,
Mhm.
and this is physical. Yeah. So I think he should be adamant here. I don't think he should be jolly.
I agree. I agree with you.
So at +1 does a good chunk, good chunk. The thing is, so you said late game. So are you saying like last Pokemon, or you could still technically
No,
roar?
well, no. I mean, I can still technically roar it, but my Vaporeon might be chipped from, like, maybe switching into Ninetales once or taking a Psychic Noise from Prim once. Not a lot, like maybe like 20%.
Hmm.
I'm just asking to see if, and that might just be a calc thing later on down the line, if we need to entirely like full send the whole Vaporeon idea of coming in on Ninetales, coming in on Prim, coming in on Kilo. Like, do we need all of that value for that, or can we distribute it to necrozma? So maybe I can take a Psychic Noise from Prim, but I can also later on maybe live a +1 photon and I can roar it and it's still contributing something,
Yeah.
rather than I'm just dying and then I can't prevent anything. Which obviously, I mean, in the example, T spikes are up, so I am getting value, but
Hmm.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
seeing
no.
if that is contributed, you know.
Yeah, I think no. I think we are definitely gonna probably have some fizz out, just because, like we said, like water absorb Terra fire, like they don't really do anything to it. So I don't even think we're gonna need too much for def. It'd pretty much just be for Kilowattrel. I'm kind of curious actually with where's Kilowattrel real quick. Yeah, I mean this is plus for def nature, but there's no EVs yet. So, and I don't think it gets like nasty plot, right? Nothing crazy like that.
No, I don't think it gets any setup. Maybe workup, maybe, but I don't even think it gets that.
Yeah, or like charge.
Or
um,
charge, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we opted. What do we say? We're gonna go for boots, right?
Yeah, I think it was Boots or Shuka, and I think we were leaning Boots just
Mm-hmm.
for the spikes and the
Yeah.
rocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, with boots, like even just plus def nature, like you're getting 3 hits. So, and he can miss obviously too with with Hurricane.
Right.
Thunderbolt is barely like a 4 hits you. So, and you have Wish Protect. So I think that's okay. Like you probably don't need much def at all. We do want to see how much you do versus Necrozma if it's special though too, because it can be special. Oh shit, Meteor Beam. um. So no, we're in like a photon geyser though. So let's say he's +1 as you switch in. Um. I mean, again, you're still never in range. So if you roar him, let's say like he goes to +1 and then he attacks you as you roar, right? You're gonna be at like 40% left. Technically,
Yeah,
like,
somewhere around there.
yeah, technically, unless you roar him into one of these two guys. Oh, I'm sorry, no, one of these two guys. I guess Roaring Moon might be able to do 40 to you with like an outrage or a knockoff, maybe if you still have your item. But you know, there's a pretty solid chance that you might be able to just wish anyway. So, like after the hit, so I don't think you're gonna need a ton of Spidef for this calc. Again, I think the Fizdef can help versus physical Necrozma and Moon.
Hmm.
Even though again you just scald Moon, but you could just roar him if he's like setting up or anything crazy. So yeah, I do
Right.
think it's probably better to be majority Fizdef in this game, even though you would use it for your special guys. Yeah, because again, I don't even know what's the hardest. Like, is Moonblast probably is like the hardest thing from Primer, right, to hit you, even though it's resisted. Psychic Noise, I
Yeah,
guess.
it'd probably be Psychic Noise. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but God forbid they're liquid voice Psychic Noise. They're just not touching me.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
yeah, it's just, yeah, they're not doing much to me at all.
What can do? Delibird, no. Yeah, so, let me see. What I would probably do is make sure Necrozma, if it's special, +2. Oh yeah, I can run Earth Power. Are you gonna have Earth Power? I guess it could be Heat Wave. Well, Earth Power is probably just better. It doesn't miss, right? It'll be special for Metagross. He's probably gonna have Earth Power. So I'd probably just put a little bit of bulk to make sure you don't get like you don't get ult code by this +2,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's about it. And you're boot, so you don't have to worry about if rocks are up. So it's not even too much. It's literally 28. Um, So, and then the rest can literally probably go into Fizz Def because you literally hardwall the special guys with your typing. So, not Kilowattro, but we saw the Kilowattro calcs. Unless he's
I
like,
mean, yeah, it's not doing much.
yeah,
Maybe spec, but no, I don't think that's real, especially because of like how I've been on a Tera Rhyperior lately, so he might just be blindsided by that thing, and that might just scare him.
yeah,
Um, so
hmm
yeah, I don't really think I agree with the mainly physical phys def because I don't even think I need a lot of the bulk anyways.
yeah. We are gonna do 28. Definitely max Fizz Def like this, I think. I think we're gonna go with Spadef Nature though, plus Spadef Nature, because I think that's what that calc was, right? Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was calm. Yeah,
yeah, that's fine though.
yeah,
So yeah, the only thing that really can like kind of special attacker can shred you is the whole specs Kilowattro, but
correct. Low.
you know,
Yeah.
ideally you have your
Whoa.
rocks up then too. So anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like it's a roll to two shot. Could he go modest here? Probably shouldn't, but he can if he wants to call like Sneasler not being offensive because of Landorus. You know, he could make that read, I guess. But um, if you want, you could put a tiny bit more to make it in your favor at least to live, but it's up to you. Let's say you're not leftovers. What's the? It's a 59% chance, so you could put a little bit more if you want this in your favor, or if you're just fine with the
Yeah,
20.
no, that's fine.
That's
I
fine.
mean, I probably should respect Kilo more, but I just don't see it. Like, especially with the whole Rhyperior thing. Granted, it's gonna be tearing, but I mean, like, I wouldn't. I've ran Lightning Rod before. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
once he sees your team on preview, he's gonna see that pretty much Hurricane is kind of free because
Yeah.
you know your resist is not SpDef really. So, but he's not gonna know that from before the game, so he might not be specs. He could be like boots or something.
Yeah.
That would probably be like the worst case scenario for you because it is faster and everything, and it could be a bit oppressive. But you know, as long as maybe let's say Kilowattro does come, then yeah, maybe you should be a bit more careful with like this guy, for example. Um, but I still think this is okay. This is a fine thing, fine set. This is a good set, especially if no Kilo comes. Like it's gonna be pretty hard for him to kill. Besides Landorus, Scald or Wish Protect. And you know, wishing into this guy is always fun too. So don't forget about that.
Yeah, I actually haven't done that a lot this season, so
Yeah,
that is also I have
Yeah.
to consider that too.
yeah. He's again. It's pretty hard for him to switch into this guy. His only normal resist is the steals, which gets blown back by fire moves. So, you know, don't forget about that too. Obviously, you see like Wish and Baton pass together with that, but then we don't have Protect, so it's a bit
I
hard.
like the safety of protect. I like that
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Cool. I think what do you say, Sugarberry for this guy, right? Sugar.
I believe we did do sugar for that. Yeah.
Cool. So we do have. We can go balloon here, like we said earlier. Thing is, what are we gonna lead here? Is the thing. This is our team. First of all, is there anything that's kind of like still worrying us with this build?
So something that I'm not concerned about, but I kind of like having. Actually, that might just be a question. So with the win condition is Metagross,
Mm-hmm.
and my whole game plan for what it seems like with what we have is to prioritize getting hazards up,
Yeah.
however way I can without it being a detriment, and then just being annoying with roar and pivoting.
Yeah.
Question
So
mark? Okay. Okay.
yeah. So your main like, so the main Pokemon that's gonna be like throwing off attacks is these two guys, like Samurai
Okay.
and Tropicos. But again, I would only bring in if Necrozma is there. I would only bring in this guy when Necrozma hits the field,
Field. Okay, yeah.
and then
Okay.
if he does have like Klefki or like a pretty like good hazard setter, maybe he brings. You know, it's really only Klefki or like Lander slash Necrozma would be the rockers.
Mhm.
If Klefki comes, I would probably again, I would be careful with this shell until he starts like setting up hazards with you. Then you spin. If no Klefki is there, then you could play more reckless with this guy, for example.
Right.
But the way this game for you to win is the main thing is the hazards, and then with the combination of Wish and Roar, and Dragon Tail, I guess too. His team should be getting just worn down over time for your offense to just pretty much pick up kills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Again, ideally,
All
like
right.
let's say Sneezer's in and he brings in the obvious like Landers, right? You ideally you U-turn when it comes in, unless you have Toxic Spike, then obviously you're gonna Toxic Spike first. But you U-turn and then like what are you bringing on Landers? Well, you can't. You're not gonna go Vaporeon. I guess technically you could go Vaporeon if you didn't Tera yet. Then you could just throw off a Skull because he's not gonna be doing much to you, right? He's gonna be doing what, like 40 if he's offensive. He's probably not going to just straight up Earthquake kill a Vaporeon, right? They could just kill him with Ice Beam or something. So, Landers comes in. If this guy is not Tera, you could go into this guy and just throw off a Scald. You can go into Garchomp and get up your rocks up, right? Because again, you're not really threatened by Landorus. Technically, you could go Trabagos as well. He can be faster though when you turn and break your shell, which is a bit annoying. But still, if you want to just get off some attack, like some damage, like that's perfectly fine. You just throw off an attack, probably a Star Storm over a Ice Beam, just in case he does. You turn into something else, So I think that's probably like the hardest Pokemon for you to deal with. But ideally, you get to have momentum versus the Landorus, right? Garchomp is your Ogerpon switch. Roaring Moon, we don't really have we have a Roaring Moon switch, because that guy's pretty strong and it's pretty hard to deal with. Ideally, like Roaring Moon's probably going to be in at the end of the game. That's usually when Roaring Moon hits the field, unless it's like a Bandit or a Scarf variant. Bandit or Scarf might be a bit tough because you did already show Tera Fairy, and you do have Dark Resists. You have this guy. You showed Rocky Helmet Defensive Chomp, so he can't just throw off an Outrage. Like I'm thinking he's going to probably be some sort of like setup Moon again. It makes sense to me at least. So when Roaring Moon hits the field later in the game, you're gonna obviously not gonna have your whole team. You're gonna have to kind of just decide, okay, what can I go in and sack? But also, like, if I go into it, I can't just be set up on it and then straight up lose. Like, you need to sack something, but you also need to make sure like he can't just keep setting up on you, right? So
Right.
it's just like kind of knowing what you have available at the time it comes in. If Roaring Moon comes in early, then it might be a bit tricky. It probably depends on like what's on the field too at that time, what you do. Again, if let's say Garchomp is out and Roaring Moon comes in, you could make a ballsy play and just straight up stay in and just Dragon Tail or Earthquake him, because I think it's pretty unlikely that he just straight up Dragon moves. He can, because again, your only Dragon resist he's gonna see is the Metagross. But again, sometimes you just have to make a play or sack something because he gets a good position on you. This isn't like a team where we have like switching. It's like everything on this team. It's just not really
It's gonna
feasible.
be a pretty offensive game. Yeah.
If you are a bit scared of that, we could throw spikes on this guy instead, and then bring Rhyperior over Samurott, and then just have one of them kind of dedicated to try like maybe one be Fizz Def like Rhyperior, and then like this guy be more like he's Fizz Def too, but he's also Spadef, and then maybe just have one of them try to check the necrozma that way if you think that's better.
No, I like this because I don't want to. Something that I definitely don't want to try and do is become reactive.
Mm-hmm.
I was very much a bulky offense, reactive player in Gen 8, and Rude Awakening in Gen 9, it's more hyper aggressive, hyper offense leaning. So that's my main question was going to be like, how am I breaking this team? But you literally answered that. So I'm just need to prioritize hazards, play safe when I need to. If I need to play aggressive, play aggressive. That's just what Gen 9 is. So, but yeah, no. Other than that, I mean, I like the game plan. Looks good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to look at it, do a couple mocks, see how that goes.
Yeah.
Make sure that I'm playing it right, and obviously make adjustments if needed. But I like this.
Yeah, and then when you do your mocks, so just send them my way, and then we can go over them either in call or just through Discord. It doesn't really matter to me. And then maybe we do make a change Pokemon wise, or just make a change set wise or play wise, whatever. That's literally what mocks are for, just to kind of see what happens. But I think the way this game becomes hard is either he brings like boot spam or something, or he does bring spin, and he basically just somehow your hazards don't do what they're supposed to do, and then everything
Right.
isn't in range of Metagross. That's pretty much how
Right.
I think you don't win this game. But other than that, I think you're okay. Plus, Samurot's nice to have because it is a dark type. So let's say Metagross is in or Terapagos is in, and he goes Klefki. Technically, you could just throw in Samurott versus Klefki, and it does block anything unless he goes for like a screen or spikes or something. But at least you prevent like Thunder Wave on one of your important guys. So that's also nice to have, you know.
Right.
So,
Right.
but okay, let's think about leads here. If we end up going with Sneasler, I'm gonna probably say change it to Focus Sash. But other leads, we could lead. See, the thing is, if we lead Vaporeon like early, then we just draw a Tera. We probably don't want to do that. Well, I guess it means we could switch in though right away to the other things if we Tera immediately. What's the... And it's nice too, because if we do lead Vaporeon, because if they do lead like Landers, for example, then obviously you would not Tera the...
Right.
And you could just throw off a Scald, right? As they probably U-turn into... Either U-turn or Rocks. If they're Rocks, that'd be really nice, but... they're probably... if I'm them, I'd probably U-turn into like Prim, I think would be...
They also won't know what my set is as well immediately turn 1, so that is also that's good. That could be an option. I was gonna say, if we're thinking about Sneasler lead, they don't have a ghost type immediately unless God forbid they bring Bayonet. We could be like Sash Reversal or something. Like, I don't know if it gets like Endeavor. That could be really dope in lowering down something.
I don't think it gets
getting more value or something along those lines. If we're thinking about Sneasler, and not to say that we have to do it, because I am kind of liking the Vaporeon idea. It might catch him off guard because I tend to lead pretty offensive. So, and I did it in our regular season games, so he might try and and he won't know my Vaporeon set turn 1. So
even if
I like that.
Yeah, because even if they lead like Ogerpon too, and you Tera Fire, like you're fine. You're fine to just Scald. So the whole air balloon too, like hiding it immediately, is nice because let's say you do like Tera Fire versus like Ninetales or something, and then you just Scald away. You know, they might try to get into like Landorus or something, and then that gives you like the initial, at least one good initial switch into Landorus, which is, I think you just go hard Sneasler. Expecting an Earthquake. If the U-turn, it is what it is. Like, you're still going to be able to get your Toxic Spike up, ideally. So, it does kind of give you that one hidden switch to Landorus, which could be nice. Because, like I said, I think if they Earthquake Azur's Balloon, like, you're going to T-Spike, but they're probably going to U-turn or something just to break your Balloon. So, and then you can U-turn on whatever comes in later. So, I'm trying to think what is a potential matchup where you have to switch with Vaporeon. And
I mean, maybe like necrozma is probably the only thing I see. Even if they're getting rocks up, I mean, it's good to go into Hammerot anyway. It also covers if they're like a random meteor beam, but it could be haze. Like, I don't know. I mean, other than like Roaring Moon, but they just got for a Luring Voice. Like,
I mean, I think Necrozma, you probably, you make the Samurott play because it just gives you your spike turn 2 anyway. Or turn 3 if you encore, whatever, you know. Let's see.
Other than that, I don't really see where I would maybe switch turn 1. I think it would more be like turn 2 or turn 3. Once they start like seeing, which I don't think they're going to see Roar immediately, obviously, because I don't have hazards up on benefit. But once they start seeing my Scald, maybe a Wish in the air, maybe a Protect. Might be, but I don't think I'm immediately threatened out by much, actually.
So Meteor Beam would definitely be like worst case scenario for Samurott. You know, it does a solid chunk. You do still live though, and then obviously in that scenario, I don't think you Meteor Beam. I think you just straight up Ceaseless Edge because I think there's a solid chance he switches, and you want to at least get one spike up. You know, if he Meteor Beams and then you Ceaseless Edge and then he just kills you, like that's fine. He didn't get his speed boost or anything. You can just go into something to prevent. You could probably go Terapagos, I think, would just probably just kill him, right? Yeah, Terapagos would just straight up kill him. So, I think you're fine there. Again, I would only encore if he like shows like Calm Mind or Dragon Dance or basically like set up. Even if he rocks again, I don't think you try to encore him. I think you just edge because there's a
Just
good chance he
edge.
just switches, right? And you want to
Right.
get your edge up.
I've
So
never feel encore before, so yeah, he'll have that. He'll probably go Klefki or something like that too. And yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I
yeah.
like that.
Okay, give me
Mhm.
1 second. I'm gonna. All right, we are back. Sorry about that, guys. So I think we were talking about with like leads, right? Like with the lead Vaporeon.
Yeah, yeah, we were
Okay.
talking about like the Vapo. Yeah,
All right, cool, cool, cool. So let's just go ahead and go through like kind of everything and see what we're clicking versus most stuff here. So yeah, Vaporeon versus lead Roaring Moon is kind of interesting. Um, we have Scald, but it's not going to do a ton. I'm not really sure what their click is either. They might just have click knockoff. Is probably what I would do. And I guess,
I genuinely think they just click a U-turn. Like it's
yeah.
such a. I think Vaporeon, and the reason why I like my eyes lit up when you said Vaporeon lead at this is because I think no matter what they lead with, they're gonna have to play reactive because they just. That's why I think three typings no reveal is kind of stupid because they
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
you
what I
could be
mean.
fairy. Yeah, I forgot
Like
about that.
I could be fairy,
Yeah.
like, and it doesn't like any lead, like it literally doesn't matter. Like I think they always U-turn. They could try an Iron Head to be cheeky,
Mhm.
like, and I think that's not good. Like I genuinely like anything they do, they have to play reactive. Other than maybe like a weird Dragon Dance turn one necrozma, but literally we go Hamrod. Like other
Yeah.
than that,
Yeah.
they have to play reactive, or maybe they like their Klefki and they try and get spikes up. Like that
Mhm.
could be they might be trying to anti-lead Hammerot, and that's Klefki just gets spikes. Like other than that, I think they lose value with literally any other lead, just for the simple fact they don't know what I am.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not the end of the world, even if they do get spikes, because again, you have spin, so it's all good.
Mhm. Right.
Um. All right. So I guess the question is not if you stay in, but so versus Roaring Moon, you probably don't. You don't have to Terra, honestly. I mean, you can because they're not going to click like Earthquake. They're probably going to click U-turn, like you said, just because they don't know Fairy. And making you fire does give you like at least you could switch in now. If you stay water, technically you can get hit hard by like a Moonblast or a Freeze Dry or something. So you
Right.
you probably would Terra versus Moon if I had to guess, just to get her off. Again, it's not going to make you any weaker to its attacks. It shouldn't click Earthquake. That'd be weird.
Yeah.
Landorus is probably the one Pokemon where you don't Terra.
Terra.
Just
Yep.
for the
I
off
agree.
crazy off chance. But what I'm gonna assume is gonna happen is they're probably gonna U-turn into like one of these guys, and then you can Terra the following
Yeah.
turn. So
Yep.
yeah. So all right. So we're gonna Terra Scald, non-Terra Scald, and then do we just Terra Scald literally everything else
We literally Terra Scald everything else.
besides Necrozma? Yeah.
Yeah, Necrozma, yeah, we pivot, but yeah, literally. I don't see I don't see what
Yeah.
else really, because we even like, and part of the reason, like, I was thinking about it, like they could maybe see that Terrifier Vapo does a lot. They can't really fully respect it, but I think they may see it, so
Mhm.
they might try and do like a weird like Sand Slash thing and be like a more physically oriented team. But like, thing about Scald, like you're risking a burn, so I could get lucky in a sense of I get a burn on something like Sand Slash,
Yeah.
something like Roaring Moon or anything like that.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like Vapo lead actually looks really good, and the only time I play reactive is against maybe Necrozma lead.
Mhm.
Other than that, I can literally just click Scald for pretty much free and no drawback.
Yeah. So you're also gonna be getting your spikes up versus Necrozma ideally if it comes in. You go this guy, Encore
Hmm.
slash a spike. Sneasler, you're probably gonna get your toxic spike up versus like Landorus if I had to guess. Ideally he doesn't just straight up U-turn on your switch because then he could technically go into like a Scarfer maybe, and then threaten you
Right,
out. But again, there should be plenty of opportunities just to get in the Sneasler because it is faster than everything besides Kilowatt, right?
right.
So you're gonna probably go Sneasler initially on on Landorus to try to get the spike up, and then if Ogerpon comes, that's gonna be your Garchomp. Um, your Garchomp Stealth Rock. I don't think +2 like Source Dance Play Rough doesn't kill you, right? I don't think it might. I don't know. Let's
It
see.
it may, but I don't think I don't think so. I'm a Garchomp. Like,
No, yeah, Play Rough.
and I
Play Rough.
maybe I did the calcs before because I before I was less bulk than this. I don't think I
Yeah, it
got
does the
yeah.
same. So +2. I mean,
Um,
+2 will hurt.
yeah.
Um,
But I mean, they are taking that residual chip, which is the whole point of I think guard
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And again, and if they don't bring like Necrozma or Landorus or Ogerpon, like any one of these three, then it just frees up more.
yeah,
More.
right.
Then you could technically throw in Garchomp versus, I don't know, let's say Banette comes, or you could throw in Samurott versus like
Versus
Sandslash, right? If there's
Sandslash.
no Necrozma, like, so it just kind of depends. But ideally you
Right.
do get your hazards up, within the first like 5 to 10 turns, really. So, and when I say
Okay.
hazards, I mean like probably Toxic Spike plus Rock.
Like some rocks.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
So, but again, yeah, your main attackers are gonna literally just be Terapagos and Metagross.
Metagross.
You could also go into Metagross if you just need to like Bullet Punch for a kill, or maybe it's in versus something that's slow, like maybe a Klefki, or a Klefki, nah, because it could Thunder Wave you. But let's say you bring in Metagross in versus like Ninetales or something, you could technically just throw off a Heavy Slam, right? You don't have to show agility immediately if you don't want to, but it really just depends how the game goes. Let's say for some reason Landorus goes down or he doesn't come, like then Sneasel like looks pretty solid, right? As a just attacker, like it's dual stabs, right?
Hmm.
So, it's just all about like what pieces he comes and what pieces he lets go, and you go from there. I would say again, the only clear like thing about this team is you need the hazards to kind of function for the team to work.
Yeah, if I don't get the hazards up, then I just lose.
Yeah,
Okay.
what is that? What the heck? Get out of here.
Oh.
But yeah, everything else looks good, so I think we're pretty much good here. Is there any like, other last things you're concerned about, or I think you're okay, at least for mocks for now?
No, I think the idea is good. I think the mocks are gonna really, really help because my issue is less of a prepping issue and a building issue. I love building. I love looking at the damage calculator for hours. It's
Yeah.
weird. But like I can do that, and then like in the game, like my plays don't really reflect how it's supposed to function. So I
Hmm.
think the mocks are gonna really, really help.
Yeah.
With kind of just seeing how things are maybe supposed to go. I'm just gonna have to recognize that hazards are a priority and playing aggressive around maybe a sand slash and just recognizing the fact that hey, I might be risking my Garchomp on a Sand Slash that's 4 times that I'm gonna die. But if they kill me, I mean they're not removing hazards, which is
Hmm.
what my overall in-game goal is. And if
Exactly.
they are taking spin, I'm getting value that way because I'm getting chip, which is what I need for my win condition of Metagross. So I think the plan is good. I just need to make sure my plays reflect what the plan are,
Yeah.
what the plan is rather, and go from there. But yeah, no, I like it. I
Okay.
don't have any complaints
So
or anything.
there is one last change we could do, and that is making this unburdened. So in the whole scenario where I said, oh, like if you bring this guy in and they U-turn and they bring in something faster like a Scarfer, the unburden would let you automatically like be faster no matter
Right?
what, and then you would automatically like get the T-Spike for sure. To whereas Poison Touch is good for like just U-turning on Landorus or just hitting things later. So, like I don't really know. Like again, the whole
I
purpose of this guy is
mean,
coming is the Toxic Spike usually, like for the most part. It's good speed control, don't get me wrong, but Landorus is a hard check to this guy. So, um, I think on Burden just to be faster and everything could definitely help.
I kind of like it because I'm prioritizing that T spike, and ideally, if I get rocks up, I think if I remember the calc correctly, or I could be delusional, I think Lando maybe needs 2 rock switch-ins, if that, so that it's
Yeah,
in range of Metagross. So
yeah.
I think just securing the fact that I get a T spike up, get a rock up, and
Hmm.
go from there, I think that's valuable. So actually, I kind of like that shout, but it might just come down to like mocks or
Hmm.
things like that,
Yeah,
seeing how that goes.
and you
And
still
then
have
also
Direct
they could
Claw
be scared of
too.
my air balloon too. Exactly, yeah, like
Yeah.
Dire Claw.
So, but
You could get a sleep too, like hey.
yeah. So, but okay. I think this is good for Mux, man. I appreciate you coming on. I know it's kind of long. Sorry about that, but
No, listen,
it's
I spend so much more time. Like this is like, obviously one sitting it's different, but yeah, no, this is
yeah.
this is cool. I like it. I like it for Mox for sure. Hopefully I win.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Finals, gotta get those
so,
chips. Let's go.
yes,
But
sir, yes, sir.
all right, and I'm gonna have Cherry's YouTube in the description as well, guys. So definitely go check them out. But yeah, appreciate you joining me, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and cut to the battle, guys. See you later. Alright guys, we're here for Cherry's finals game. One last look at the pace we made. Only a couple of changes. First one was putting Fake Out over Close Combat on Sneasler. Just because Fake Out, our whole plan is to basically get Toxic Spike up, and potentially getting a Fake Out Poison Touch on something like Landers could be huge, or if Sneasler comes in late game and something is poisoned, you know, if we just need an extra round of poison to put in range or something, it's probably more useful. And then our other change was Roar on Terapagos instead of Ice Beam, mainly because Ice Beam was just there for Landorus, but Roar is there to prevent something like a Sand Slash setting up Swords Dance behind a Veil if it like Tera's to like a Ghost type or something. Our Terapagos is kind of like set up fodder, so we want to basically roar it out and just stall out the Veil turns. You know, with rocks up, again, that's our plan. Landers will be in Starstorm range pretty quickly anyways, so Roar definitely makes more sense than Ice Beam in my opinion. So we have the battle here. Again, we don't know the Tera preview. They actually don't even bring any Tera Pokemon on the opponent's side of the field, so we don't have to worry about that. So we're going to lead Vaporeon. They lead Hearthflame. Our play is to go Harden to Garchomp. That's our response. As they do go for a Swords Dance, we should be able to take any hit, though, and hopefully get our Stealth Rock up. Very nice. Cool. They cudgel to avoid contact, which makes a lot of sense, but now we can go Sneasler, and we have to Dire Claw, unfortunately. We can't really mess around with it. They go into Landers as we go for Dire Claw. That's fine. Now we can get up a Toxic Spike. They reveal to be Choice Scarfed there. Good to know. We don't really have a ground switch in anyway, so we get up the T-Spike, which is really crucial to our plan. Now we can go Vaporeon and just throw off probably a Scald here if I had to guess. What do we see? What do we see? Yep, a Scald. Alright, so well played so far. They go for Aurora Veil. We choose not to Terastalize. So that's a bit interesting. I know why he wants to do that. It's because so we don't just be weak to Earthquake. The thing is, though, like Vaporeon's probably not going to switch into 2 Earthquakes anyway, especially if we're like a little bit chipped. And the fire does help because he could have easily went for like a freeze dry. This thing could have been offensive. You don't really know. It could have done a lot of damage to us. And then also Primarina came, and we really need this guy to be a fire type to kind of handle the Primarina. So, and it also helps with Ogerpon too. So it does benefit him a little bit in not like revealing his Tera type. But I still think it's probably better to Tera just to have that switch into Primarina / Ogerpon if you need it, because we don't really have a switch into Ogerpon either. But we should probably see a Protect here. We do see a Protect, very nice, so Toxic will just KO it. Very well played by Cherry so far, though. Pretty much perfectly played. Okay, so now we're going to see the Tera type, I'm assuming. Yeah, we do. Okay, cool. Power Whip comes out. We eat that up. Go for a Scald. Now I probably just Wish here. And then you can just Protect. Yeah, so they go Prim, right? Do we Protect? Yeah, Protect. Very well played. Okay. Yeah. And now we're Fire type in front of Prima. This guy can't do anything to us. We could just Scald or Roar. Either one is fine, I think. Scald comes out. Psychic Noise is a bit annoying because you can't Wish, but we're still chipping this guy down. This is why the Toxic Spike is doing so much work in this matchup here. So now, what are they going to? Landorus? Yep, Landorus comes in. We can Protect because stall out the Veil, and we know he is locked. Protect comes out. And then EQ. So now we have to pick something to throw into Earthquake. It's looking like it's going to be probably the Sneasler if I would be Cherry, just because it's definitely the least useful out of the remaining 5. Yep, he just goes Sneasler. Nice. So he's playing really good here. He hasn't really made a bad play yet. Like, everything has been perfect except for, again, that whole Tera thing, but, you know, it's honestly not the worst that he didn't Tera there. I get why he didn't. So, really well played so far. We have to go Terapagos here to probably get the spin off or just an attack, one of the two. Does he go for the Flamethrower prediction? Ooh, he does. Well played. This is looking really in Cherry's favor now. I don't see how he loses this game. Klefki gets up the Reflect and then goes for a Steel Beam to KO itself. Necrozma comes in, gets poisoned. It's a Lumberry. We can just Roar or we can go into Samurott. So our initial play was to go Samurott on the Necrozma, because then we would have gotten the +2 boost, and we could have encore locked him. And at +2, does Samurott just KO the Primarina? It would have came in at 34 behind a reflect. Let's see. +2 versus Primarina? Probably not if it's bulky. Nah, if it's bulky, this is even much bulky there. It wouldn't. Okay, so he chooses to actually save his Mirror Herb and just roar, which honestly, this is a good play. This is a heads up play because obviously, you know, if you roar, this guy can come back in later and then you can make that play. And by roaring, you're going to get chip on this guy or Landorus, one or the other. And the Primarina is pretty low, so that's pretty much all we need this guy for out of the remaining 3. So I think disguising the Mirror Herb for later, I think, is actually in his favor. So this was a really good play. I agree with going for roar there. Primarina comes out, can't really touch us, just going to go for the Psychic Noise to prevent a wish. Tries to go for a wish, it's all good. Now we protect, and then we probably just throw this away or just stay in here. Not throw it away, you're not going to die, but yeah, you just take the damage on Vaporeon. And again, if Necrozma comes in, you could just click Roar. Landorus comes in, you can just sack this, no problem. Sacked, easy. Our Terapagos is still at 100%. Earthquake comes out. Starstorm comes out. And then we can go Samurai here, or we can just attack. I think attacking straight up wins too. We go Samurai. Let's see what they go for. They go for Dragon Dance, so they're actually double dance, SD and Dragon Dance, but we do have the Mirror Herb Encore. So that is going to win the game. He could just Ceaseless to kill. Hopefully he doesn't miss. Oh, double Jet works too. Honestly, that's a bit safer because double Jet will kill after poison. So well played. Yeah, I mean, he could have technically just stayed in with the Terapagos here, I think. Because even if Necrozma goes for like a Dragon Dance on this turn, you know, this guy is going to be at like 10% or something after the poison and Starstorm damage. And then Aqua Jet would pick it off anyway. Bullet Punch could pick it off, either one. But hey, we get the tech shown off here, and we do walk away with a 3-0 finals win. So Grassy Cherry, this was honestly one of the cleanest games of the whole series. I don't really even see any misplays. Again, I don't really consider the whole not tearing early on a misplay because there's good reason to not Tera. I just think it was probably a bit more optimal to Tera in that situation, but it still worked out, and he got a pretty clean 3-0 finals win. Wasn't really under any threat of losing this game, I think. You know, the threats were dealt with pretty easily. The Ogerpon and the Necrozma. The Necrozma came in 2 separate times and was only able to click setup moves. It didn't get a single attack off. So the Landorus was definitely the hardest thing for our team, but with the rocks up, we were able to basically pressure it with Terapagos or pressure it with Samurott coming in and all that. So really well played. We had a Shuka Berry too. Our win condition didn't even hit the field, actually, which is kind of crazy. But thank you guys a ton for watching. I will link Cherry's YouTube channel down below because he does upload Pokemon content as well. And if you guys want to be part of the series, all you gotta do is join the Discord down below and type in the word "in" with the Team Building with Zooch channel. Sign up, and then also if you're already on the channel, you guys can definitely sign up again. I just got through the entire queue, so I'm gonna have basically second-time people come on again if they want. Though newer people that sign up that haven't been on the series yet will get priority over you guys. So thank you guys a ton for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.